Today we're going to talk about two-digit subtraction. Our objective is students will use place value understanding to subtract by subtracting fluently within 100. First we're going to start with 54, take away or subtract 28. The first thing I have to do is I have to show 54 with my base 10 blocks because that's the number I'm starting out with. That's the number I have. For instance, if I have 54 cupcakes or 54 marbles, I'm going to show that number with 5 tens and 4 ones. Now I have to ask myself, looking at the ones place, if I have enough ones to subtract 8 because that's how much they want to take away from me. Well, I only have 4 ones, so I cannot take away 8 ones. No matter what I do, I will not be able to take 8 away from 4. So my answer is no. Since my answer is no, I have to decompose 110 as 10 ones. So I have to go next door and I have to knock on that door and I have to say, hey, 10's house, can I have one of your 10s so that I have enough to subtract? Once I've asked the 10's house, I'm going to take one of those 10s, only one 10, and I'm going to move it to the ones place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I have decomposed all of my 110 that I have. I've decomposed it as 10 ones. So now I have 14 ones. Now I have to record our decomposition of the tens. So I had taken 110, so I'm going to cross out the 5 in the tens place, the 5 tens, and I'm going to take away 1, so I'm going to have 4 tens left over. I moved 110 over to the ones place, so now instead of 4, I have 14 ones and 4 tens. Now I can subtract in my ones place. I'm going to take 8 from 14. And again, I'm going to use my touch points on this one. A lot of you need to use the touch points still, and that's perfectly okay. So I start by saying the first number. I start at the top and I work my way down. So I have 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. As you can see, it's modeling over on the side, taking away those 8 ones. And as you can see that you have 6 ones at the end. So now it's showing that I have 6 ones over here. So I'm going to record that in the ones place. Now I have to subtract the tens. So I'm going to take 2 tens from the 4 tens that I have left over. Remember that 4 tens is what I have left because I had taken a 10 away from the 5 tens. So don't forget to cross out that 5 tens because otherwise you may think that you still have 5 tens, but I really have 4. So I'm going to take them away on my base 10 models. There's 1, there's 2. I'm also going to count backwards. 10, 4, 3, 2 tens. So how many tens are left? 2 tens. Now I'm going to record that over my answer problem in the tens place. So the difference is 26. Let's try another problem. This time I have 46 and I'm going to take away 19. I'm going to show the base 10 with the base 10 blocks. Remember, I always show the bigger number, the number on top. That's what I'm starting with. So I have 4 tens and 6 ones. Now I have to think, do I have enough ones to subtract 9? So this is the one I have. Remember, we always start from the top and work our way down. I have 6 ones and they want to take away 9 ones. Do I have enough? Well, if you remember our poem, more on top, no need to stop. Well, the more is on the bottom. So more on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. Remember the last part of the poem is if they're the same, zero's the game. In this case, it's more on the floor. So no, I do not have enough to subtract. This means I have to decompose 110 into 10 ones. I'm going to take my 10 from the tens place and break it apart, decompose it into 10 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The next thing I need to do is record that actual decomposition. So I'm going to cross out my 4 tens because I'm taking 1 10 away. As you notice on the base 10 blocks, there are 3 tens left. So I'm going to write 3 tens up on the top. Then I'm going to bring that over to the tens place. I no longer have 6 ones. Now I have 16 ones because I added a 10 to the 6 ones. Now I have enough to subtract. There are 16 ones and 3 tens. Now I'm going to model taking away the 9 ones from the 16 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm also going to show that on with my touch points on the numbers. I have 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. I got 7 over here. If I count these up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 ones. How many ones are left? 7. So I have to write them into the ones place. My next step is to subtract the tens. I have 3 tens and I'm going to subtract 1 10 from the 3 tens. Here's my 10 and I'm going to take it away, so I crossed it out. Again, I have to model how many tens are left. Well, if I look back over at the base 10 chart, I have 2 tens that are left. So there are 2 tens. Now I'm going to record it in the tens place. So the difference is 27. Let's do another problem. Now I have 23 and I'm going to subtract 15. First, I'm going to show 23 with 2 tens and 3 ones. Now I have to think to myself, are there enough ones for me to subtract? Because we always start in the ones place, so we have to look at that ones place and think, are there enough? Well, I have 3 and they want to take 5 away. 3 is smaller than 5, so there's more on the floor, so we have to go next door. So no, we do not have enough to subtract. Because I don't have enough to subtract, I have to decompose 110 to 10 ones. Here's my 10, and I'm going to break it apart into 10 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I have broken my 10 apart into 10 ones. Now I have to record our decomposition. Again, I started with 2 tens, but I had to take a 10 away from there. So I'm going to cross out my 2 tens. I'm going to show that I have 1 10 left. Then I have to cross out my 3 ones because I added 10 to them. So now I have 13 ones, just as shown over here. I know it was kind of backwards. Now I have enough to subtract because I have 13 ones and 1 10. So I have to subtract my 5 ones. I will show that on the model. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've taken away my 5 ones. If I show that on the model with the numbers, I count back with base 10 or with the touch points. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. I have 8 ones left. If I count these ones, I have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. How many ones are left? 8 ones are left. So I will write it into the ones place. Now I have to subtract the tens. I'm going to take 110 from the 110 that I have left over after I decomposed. So I take my 1 and I cross it out. How many tens are left? There are no tens left. So we're going to record that. But really, I don't need you to record that because we don't write numbers like this. We don't write them 0, 8. So you don't have to write the 0 there. You could leave that blank. So therefore, our difference is going to be 8. Now I want to show you a couple without the base 10 blocks. We're just going to follow the steps and do them that way. So first, I have to look at the ones place and think, do I have enough ones to subtract? I have what's on top. Remember, we always start from the top and work our way down. So I have what's on top. I have 72, so therefore I have 2 ones. They want to subtract the 6 ones. Do I have enough to subtract? No, I do not have enough to subtract. More on the floor, so I need to go next door and get 10 more. So I'm going to decompose 110 and show my decomposition. So I'm going to take a 10 from 7 tens and I'm going to get 6 tens. I'm going to move that 10 over to the ones place, and instead of 2, I'm going to have 12 because 10 plus 2 is 12. Now I have 12 ones and 6 tens. So therefore I can subtract. I'm going to take 6 ones from 12 ones. So how many ones are left? Let's find out. We're going to do touch points to get it. So I say the number and then I do touch points backwards. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I have 6 ones left over. And I'm going to show that in the ones place. So now I have to look at my tens place and subtract the tens. I'm going to subtract 4 tens from 6 tens. Remember that I decomposed a 10, so I no longer have 7 tens, I have the 6 tens. And I start at the top and I work my way down. So I have 6 tens, I'm going to count backwards. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. How many tens are left? 2 tens are left. Now I'm going to record that in my tens place. Therefore, my difference is 26. Now that you've seen it a couple of times, it would be a good idea to pause right here and try this one on your own, 67 minus 18, and then go ahead and press play to see if you did it correctly. Go ahead and press pause now. Hopefully you pressed pause and you figured out your answer, and now you're going to check against my answer. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the ones place. I always start with my ones and I'm going to think, are there enough ones to subtract? Remember, I have the number that is on top, so I have 67. Therefore, I have 7 ones. I do not have enough to take away 8 ones, so therefore, I'm going to have to break down or decompose 110 to 10 ones. So I'm going to take 110 from 6 tens over in the tens place. If I take 110 from 6 tens, I get 5 tens. And I'm going to move that 10 over to the tens place, or to the ones place, and I'm going to add it to my 7 ones. Now I have 17 ones and 5 tens. I can now subtract my ones. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. How many ones are left? 9 ones. Now I have to record that in the ones place. The next thing we have to do is we have to subtract the tens. Remember, we decomposed a 10, so now I have 5 tens. I'm going to start with my 5 tens, and I'm going to take away 1 10. 5, 4. How many tens are left? 4 tens. Then I have to record that into my tens place. Therefore, my difference is 49. Again, it's a good idea to pause this, work this problem out on your own, and then press play again to see if you got the correct answer. Hopefully you press pause, you figured out your answer, and now you're going to watch to see if you got the correct answer. Where do we always start at? The ones place. We're going to look at the ones, and we are going to ask ourselves, is there enough to subtract 4? Remember, I always start with my bigger number, the one on top. I have 58, and they want to take away 24. So I have 8 ones, and they want to subtract 4 ones. So my question is there more on top or more on the floor? Well, in this case, I have more on top. So my poem says, no need to stop. I have enough. So my answer is yes, I have enough. Therefore, I do not need to decompose. All I do is subtract. So I'm going to take 4 ones from 8 ones. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. How many ones do I have left? I have 4 ones. So I'm going to record that into the ones place. Now I get to move to the tens place. Now I have to subtract my tens. I'm going to subtract 2 tens from 5 tens. 5, 4, 3. How many tens do I have left? I have 3 tens left. So therefore I'm going to record it into the tens place. Remember, you don't always have to decompose, and that's why on the first step you ask yourself, do I have enough? Remember, the number on top is the one we start with, and the number on bottom is what we are taking away. So if the number on top is the same or bigger than the number on bottom, we do not have to decompose. But if the number on the bottom is bigger, then we always have to decompose. Therefore, on this one, my difference is 34. Again, just to make clear, the steps are, we start with the ones place. We think, are there enough ones to subtract? We know we have the top number, so if the top number is smaller, then we have to decompose. If the number is the same or bigger than the bottom number, we can just subtract. If I decompose, I have to take 1 10. Then, after I find the answer to my ones, I can move to the tens place and subtract from there. The best thing to always do is to always check your work. So make sure that you go back and make sure that you did your subtraction correctly. Take your time and always double check.